Hello and welcome to this video on allocating a resource on Workbook Go. In this video, we'll be allocating a set of resources to a single individual client. So let's get straight into it. Starting from the Home dashboard page, begin by clicking on My Clients button. All client-related actions are accessed from the My Client Management dashboard. In this case, we'll want to allocate an activity. You can allocate activities to several clients at once by creating a group, but for this video, we'll be allocating a set of activities to just one individual. Begin by selecting your client from the drop-down list of your active clients. In this case, we'll choose to allocate an activity plan for Simon. Once you select your client, a panel will open up to reveal any activities that have already been allocated but have not yet been completed. In this case, we can see that Simon has yet to complete a DAS questionnaire activity. Previously completed tasks can also be seen by clicking on the Completed Task button at the bottom of the screen. As you can see, Simon has already completed two previous activities, a note, which was a welcome to service, and an audio with a brief description of what to expect on his initial visit. We can now choose to allocate further tasks for Simon by searching for the resources on the Workbook Go libraries, or we could add a quick note by simply clicking Add Note. For this example, let's start by adding a quick note giving Simon some instructions for a homework task. For this week, I would like you to arrange for a time to have a sit-down conversation with your wife and apply the positive communication techniques we discussed. I now need to add a label for the note. I'll put in Communication Activity. Finally, I need to decide if I want to keep this note in my library to use again later, or to use it only once for Simon and then discard it. In this instance, I would choose to keep it, as I may want to use it again for other clients. Now you can see that the note activity has been added to the task activity list for Simon. Now let's go ahead and add an activity from the Workbook Go libraries. By clicking Search Libraries button, this will reveal the familiar search panel where you can choose to search for resources using keywords. For Simon, we will search for resources for communication. Once you have entered your keyword, you can choose to search from any of the libraries. But let's take a quick look at the resources from Betty King, who I know has some great resources on relationship counseling and communication. Simply click on Clinicians and scroll down to the clinician you're after. Search results will always be revealed in the familiar accordion window. We can see that from Betty's library, there are several resources she has published which match the keyword communication, including 4 text resources, 1 web page, a PowerPoint presentation, and a package. I'm interested in the PDF resource called Tips for Not Being Heard. As you can see by the yellow filled heart on the top of the description panel, this is one of my favorites. You can select and toggle your favorites anytime by simply clicking on the heart icon whenever you're in this panel. This panel provides a description of the resource provided, as you can see here. We can also have a quick look at the resource, which will open up in a new page, which will give us the view that your client will see when they open the task on their screen. If we're happy to allocate this resource, simply click Add to Activity List. Let's now add a third activity. This time I will simply go to my Favorites library without adding any keywords. Now I have a TED Talk which I think would be great for Simon to have a look at. It's called The Power of Vulnerability by Brené Brown. If I click on View now, it will take me to the page my client will see when they click on the link. This will have a button which will take them directly to the web address. So I'll close that now and return to my allocation page and press Add Activity to the list. So now that we have added 3 activities for Simon, let's have a quick look at what all those buttons below each of these resource buttons are for. The garbage icon button will simply remove an activity from the activity list. The eye symbol allows you to have a quick look at the resource from the point of view of the client, as we saw previously. The next button along with the eye icon stands for instructions. This will open a panel which allows you to add any extra instructions you would like to give to your client. For this video, we'll add a simple instruction for Simon suggesting that he read the PDF before having the difficult conversation with his wife we discussed in our previous session. The next button along with the Q icon stands for questions. This will open a panel that will allow you to have your client answer questions after completing the activity. We will add 2 short questions for Simon. Did you get any new insights from this reading? And what tips do you think you could apply when speaking with your wife? The next button along, represented by the multi-page icon, will allow you to repeat an activity many times. For example, we could repeat a note of communication several times, or you may want to have the client repeat certain activities, or you may include it in an exposure regime where you would like them to do the same activity over several days. You also have the option of determining the delay after the client completes each activity. For example, you may not want to repeat the task straight away, but rather repeat it after 24 hours or 2 days or even a week. And finally, the downward sort arrow icon will allow you to order the sequence in which the tasks are presented. For example, if I submit the activity plan as it is, all activities will be revealed at the same time. However, I could choose to click on the Set Order button for the PDF Tips for Not Being Heard and have it served after Simon completes the reading of the note. I could then choose how long to wait after completing the note. However, for this example, I'll leave it as straight after. I will also go to the web resource Power of Vulnerability and also select for this activity to be revealed after Simon completes the note communication activity. Now, if I click the Submit Activity Plan now, you will see that the order of presentation will be that the note will be revealed initially, which then will be followed by the Tips for Not Being Heard and the web resource, the Power of Vulnerability. So let's go ahead and confirm these changes. This will allocate the resources to Simon. If Simon has agreed to have the email notifications, he will receive an email stating that he has been allocated a new activity from his service provider. You can also check if it worked by now going to the Check Client Progress from the Client Management dashboard. If we select Simon from the drop-down list of active clients and click on Pending Tasks, we will see that he has yet to complete the DAS and the 3 new activities we have posted. So now, let's have a quick look at what it's like from your client's perspective. As mentioned, Simon will receive an email stating that he has been allocated a new activity. Simon can then have the option of simply clicking on the Check It Out link, which will take him directly to Workbook Go homepage without having to enter any passwords. When he clicks See New Activity, he will see your header with the allocated activities below as clickable buttons. As you can see, he has the DAS as well as the Note Communication activity. Note that your client will see the names of the resources, so consider this when you're choosing to label each of your resources. You'll also notice that the other 2 activities are not revealed. This is because we chose to only reveal them to Simon once he reads the note. Let's have a quick look at what the questionnaire on Workbook Go looks like. Each question will be presented in a sequence in a box. If the questionnaire uses quantitative responses, the client will be able to choose these from a drop-down. Once Simon completes the questionnaire, it will take him back to his home page. Note that all previous activities that he's completed are listed below. Simon will be able to return and review any of these at any time, except for the questionnaires. Now, let's click on the note activity. This will open the note we wrote earlier. Once Simon reads it and presses complete, and when he returns to the home page, he'll be advised that he has further activities. We can now see that the 2 other activities have now been served to him. If Simon now opens up the PDF Tips on Not Being Heard, this will open the PDF on a new page. Note that the instructions we wrote for the activity are on the top of the page. When he clicks on Complete, he will be taken to the questions we set previously. He can now answer each of these questions and then submit. And finally, let's have a quick look at the web-based activity. As mentioned earlier, this will take him to a new page with a clickable link, which then he can click on and will take him directly to the web page address. So there you have it. But let me quickly show you what it's like when you log back into your account and check your client's progress. As you can see for Simon, he has no tasks pending. If we then click on completed tasks, we can see all the completed tasks and the date when he completed them. We can also see his responses to questions. His responses for the PDF activity may then form the discussion at our next face-to-face session. You'll also be able to check out his scores and questionnaires. You'll be able to see each of his responses in addition to any subscales that apply to the questionnaire. You'll also be able to download the questionnaires onto an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, and now that you've seen this video, you are now ready to go ahead and start allocating your resources to your clients. Best of luck, and if you have any questions, be sure to send us a message on the Workbook Go message system. Bye for now.